When I first started with SwiftUI, I was confused by those extra words in front of the function arguments. Turns out, they're called argument labels, and they can help make your code easier to read. In this video, I'll show you a quick, practical example of how they work. To help us see argument labels in action, I've made a simple tip calculator app. We're at the bottom of Content View. Here we need to handle the Calculate Tip button action. There are 3 functions to help, all named Calculate Tip. Each function takes an amount and a percentage, multiplies them, and returns the tip amount. Even though they all share the same name, they each have different argument labels. This changes how we call them. In the first function, we have an underscore before each argument. This tells Swift that no argument labels are needed. Therefore, we can pass the numbers directly when calling it. Let's see this in action. In handle tip calculation, we first check if an amount was entered. If it was, we convert it into a variable called bill amount. If not, we set calculate tip to nil, so nothing appears in the UI. With a valid bill amount, we can call a calculate tip function like this. Calculate tip equals calculate tip, bill amount, tip percentage. As we can see, there are no argument labels here. We're just passing the arguments directly. This can be tricky because it's easy to forget what each argument represents. While our parameter names help, it's not immediately clear what values we're passing in. Let's see how we can improve this with the next version. I'll comment this out using command /. The second function doesn't include an underscore before the arguments. This allows us to use the parameter names as labels when calling it. For example, calculate tip equals calculate tip, amount, bill amount, percentage, tip percentage. This is better. With parameter names, it's easier to see what each variable represents. I'll comment this out so we can see our final example. In the last option, we have the word for before amount and with before percentage. This helps our function read more naturally when called. Calculate tip equals calculate tip for bill amount with tip percentage. If we read this from start to finish, calculate tip equals calculate tip for bill amount with tip percentage. It really flows. This is the power of using argument labels. They can help make your functions easier to call and understand. And that's it. Those are the 3 ways you can call a function with different labels. Of course, use whichever one works best for you. Thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in the next one.